Good evening. My name is Niger Chambers. I'm from Big Gold Belt Media. Very excited to talk to you three today about your new film, The Beast Within, making its world premiere this year at Fantasia Festival, and then it hits theaters July 26th. How's everyone doing? How you feeling?
Really good. Thanks for
Very
having
good.
us.
Yeah, thanks for having us, man.
Totally.
Absolutely. Um, Kaylin, fantastic performance. And honestly, as a film critic and somebody who just watches a ton of film, whether I'm critiquing it or whether just watching as a fan, I'm always a little cautious about like younger actors and just the load they carry. Because sometimes we've seen it where there's just way too much and it's unfair and they can't live up to the role. And then there's people like you where you like, yeah, no problem. I'll take all of this plus more. I just want to know for you, stepping into a very complex story, if you ask me, and a very complex character in Willow. What was the excitement? And then when you're standing amongst these your other peers, your actors, and you tend to have these moments where you want to outshine them. What was those excitements for you?
Yeah, what is it? Well, for me being quite young, they're like the only youngest on the set. Um, well, everyone was there to support me, and I think I like there's a bit of competition, you know. You want to be better than everyone. So, like I remember when I did my first film with the Midnight Sky, George said I was better than everyone, and that just boosted my confidence, and that's just how I want to be.
Got it in the gear there, and it was taken for roles. And for you too, Ellison Greer, like when you start to see it come to life, what was sort of those emotions? Just from the veteran eyes, people have been in the filmmaking world for some time, but seeing her come through, and really carrying the film, what was it like for you all?
It's just pride, really. We were just super proud. We were talking about it the other day. It's kind of like a superpower. What we put down in the page suddenly magically appears in front of us. So it's just this. It's just amazing to see, man.
We got really lucky in so many aspects of this film, and particularly in the casting of all of the four central protagonists. But Caoilinn's on this call, so we'll talk about Caoilinn. But really, it was a match made in heaven. It was perfect. Caoilinn was more than we could ever expected from the character that we originally developed together.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I have to give kudos to, and I said this in my review, and so you can hold me to it. Once it releases, when the embargo lifts, that
The embargo's lift, so if it's a good review, get it out.
okay, then you'll see that very, very soon. Sound mixing, it's always something I'm very keen to, but I have really never gave credit to editing. I thought the editing in this film was spectacular. And there's so many elements of it that just kept me super engaged. And I also thought that like the film really utilized its locations, both in the dark, even at times at light, to really keep you just visually invested, just for you all from the production aspect. Taking the actors out of it, and their fantastic performances, and even the beast itself, which we'll talk about in a minute. Just for you, the production aspect, what was it like for you all? And talk about some of the things that you all make sure y'all took a little extra pride into delivering.
Who should I tell this one?
Yeah.
Again, just going to keep saying this, but we got so lucky with everything. We had a great production designer called Russell De Rosario, who is this like, I mean, larger in life, both physically and like spiritually, who has done some fantastic movies. And he was a force to be reckoned with. And we had about 2 weeks to turn around this like huge stately home. And it was like a blank canvas to start with. And I wanted it to be like rotting and decaying. And I think, I was going in every day. I was just shouting at, not in a lovely way, at all the productions, make it more Fight Club, more Fight Club, more Fight Club. And I mean, we had like at one point we had like 30 painters in that house, distress painters, changing the textures of the walls, and I mean, it was so much fun. That part was so much fun, wasn't it? Seeing it all to come together.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, I love
go ahead.
like oh sorry. I love like Al said, I like the decorations. Like when I first saw the house, I because my room was completely done, and I just love how Russell did the details of my room like perfectly, like the wardrobe, the details were there was just amazing. And like the little details in like the houses, like the matchstick houses, they're just incredible.
That's right. We walked you into that bedroom when it was finished, didn't we? And then we let you exist in it for a while. Yeah, I remember.
One of the interesting things about that room as well was that, and Russell came up with, was putting, so that Caoilinn's, when she sleeps in the bed, she sleeps at the wrong end of it. So she's always looking at the door, you know, to give this kind of like sense of unease, or that someone could always come in, which I thought was a really interesting kind of nuance to it.
That's a good point. That's an amazing point. Hey, Kayla, I gotta ask you. There was two things with this film I wasn't expecting to be such big factors. One is, do you currently own a driver's license?
Well, no, I don't. But I when I'm older, I do. But like how we shot that film was how that shot. We had someone like the car. And I was really excited too, because I thought I was going to drive, and I was like, yes, guys, I'm finally driving. I wasn't. Someone else was controlling it, so I just had to turn the wheel.
Boo. Give her the moment, folks. No, because I seriously was connecting. Like, I remember the first time when you get that, like, do you want to switch? He's like, wait, me? I could drive? And just the fact of like how it becomes a very important part towards the conclusion of this film. So I very, very much sense that very authentic feel of like, she's getting ready to get behind the wheel. I was like, yep, remember that. Absolutely remember that. And then the second thing kind of towards you two is her being asthmatic. At one point I questioned, like, how is this either going to be beneficial to the character or a detriment to anything that's happening? Was that something that was always written, or did you kind of come back and revisit that into there so that it plays its significance with the end of the film? I'm just curious about how when was that such a critical part in the character development of Willow?
We wrote it originally in the script, but we on the days and during the production, we decided at what moments we thought it was most apt for her to be on oxygen. And I don't want to give anything away, as you know, because it's a big part of the film, but it's about her claustrophobia and her unease in the house, and the restraints and you know, and the suffocation. And that's what the Willow's asthma represents. I don't want to say anything.
Yeah, I know. I'm dancing around. Don't worry, I got another one. I'm gonna have you dance around a little bit too. I absolutely got to talk about Kit's performance. I mean, you know, first of all, even being able to get this man who has been rumored for so many different projects, like how did he sneak this with it? And he certainly shows out, which is why I love like independent films, because I think it is an opportunity for some of these actors who traditionally get cast for particular roles to come in and really show their craft. How do I go about this? His unhingedness throughout this film really keeps you on the edge. So this question is for all three of you all. Working with him and seeing him at times become stable, and then other times become like that. If you touch Willow, I'm gonna jump through the screen, sort of sort of romantic person. And then ultimately, the can I say this? The title of the film is called The Beast Within. So there's a beast somewhere in this film. So I'll just say with his relation with this beast, just talk about like seeing just the transgressions of his performances and how it impacted you jobs as the writer and director, and then obviously you working alongside of him, Caoilinn.
Yeah, I think Kit did like an amazing job on when he was like happy and with the family, and then how it changes to him being, you know,
Fine.
yeah. Like how he how his facial expressions do it. I think he's like, it's amazing how he can do that.
Yeah, we did a lot of sort of animalistic work with I did with Caoilinn and Kit, where we would try and find that beast in the man when he's not the beast, and how would he move? How does he talk? What are his mannerisms? And you'll notice he moves in a certain way, and Kit is such a malleable actor. He's so talented, and he was so invested, and it does show on screen. He totally transformed into. I think he's terrifying. You never know what he's going to do next.
Yeah. I think it was always about making him volatile. You know, it's like even when he's nice, there's this undercurrent that it could snap.
Yeah.
It could go the other way, and you're never quite safe.
Yeah.
Pulling another quote out of my review here. One of my favorite films and performances is James McAvoy in Split. And I said, oh, there's a lot of James in Kit and the same sort of dynamics between like these uneasiness, no matter whatever you may be seeing this character kind of go through. Again, dancing around some words here. But it is that uneasiness at all times. And then while we're talking about him coming back to you, Caoilinn, I mean, like, we're always going to be very protective of, you know, the innocent kid in these films, but we see you go through a little change of a transformation as well too. Talk about, if I must say here, and excuse my language, but you ultimately become badass and you take things into your own hands. Talk about understanding where you knew where the film was going to land, and knowing that you were going to have and deliver some of the most insane moments in the film.
Yeah, like I knew that when I read the script, that this, like, she's very, like you said, badass. And she well, I'm not like that. I listen and I follow the rules. Well, she needs to take over because like her parents, they're focusing on something else, so she's doing her role in what she needs to do.
Yeah, sorry to the parent in the room there, but you know, I don't think there was any other better assessment of words of the performance here. So I'll probably be the first critic to say it, but there'll be a lot more. So I excuse for the community of critics right now. I do want to talk a little bit about the end, so I'm coming right to you, Alex, here. I think there's a message within the ending. And how can I go about this? Oh, I'll just say that. What can you possibly say what we can essentially generate from the ending, the message that's within it? There's a sense of like understanding, almost to a point that you probably need to rewatch and kind of look through how this message becomes very relevant in other scenes. But if you could give like the fans a hint, like what is the conclusion of this film and the message within the conclusion basically trying to convey to everybody?
It's ultimately about a movie about a monster who's living inside the house, right? It's not a movie about trying to keep him out. The monster exists and lives within the walls of this home.
Yeah.
And I think there will be some audiences that see this beyond the werewolf film. Some may see it as simply a monster film, but actually it doesn't matter. To me, it makes a difference. It's a film about a monster. It's a film about a young girl who is in great danger, and she has to, I mean, how would you?
I think the film can. I think what I love about this film is there's a lot to talk about in there. As Al says, it can be watched as that straight monster movie, or there's a lot to dig into for a more cine literate type of viewer. So, you know, it's really towing that line between fairy tale, fantasy, reality, trauma, and monster.
And I won't say too much about the monster, but it was very. We wanted to make sure that it was mythical. You know, we really wanted to lean into that early Landis sort of developed beast, and especially as it's seen through the eyes of Willow, our 10-year-old Willow. What would that monster look like to Willow? And so I hope it doesn't disappoint.
And it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Well, you three, thank you so much for the time. The Beast Within is certainly a film people need to have on their radar. As I've mentioned, it makes its world premiere at Fantasia Festival, one of the best festivals in the world, and then stops in theaters for you all July 26th. I really appreciate the time today. Congratulations on the success thus far.
Having us.
Absolutely.
Have a great day.
Congratulations.